Rush Limbaugh bills himself as the most dangerous man in America. Why? Well, why not? He has the hottest radio talk show in the country.
Ladies and gentlemen.
In the 90s, one man gives voice to the id of American conservatism.
It seems everywhere you look, there he is, on the billboards and in the bookstores.
With his radio and TV shows, Rush Limbaugh will push together a cult following by pulling America apart.
You know what all caused this? Me!
But Limbaugh's rise to become the king of blue-collar conservatism is no rags to riches story, more like riches to even more riches.
This guy grew up in Cape Girardeau, Missouri, relatively well-off, very Republican family.
His dad was a corporate lawyer and a Republican leader.
His father was very politically opinionated and loved to spout off at the dinner table. Friends remember this. You know, when you went to the Limbaugh dinner table, you were getting a seminar and things.
As a teenager, Limbaugh dreams of one day spinning records for a top 40 radio station.
He grew up loving radio. Loved radio, and he was a DJ, much to the consternation of his lawyer father. He was kind of viewed as the failure of the family. I'm Brian Rosenwald. I'm the author of Talk Radio's America, How an Industry Took Over a Political Party That Took Over the United States. And he goes off to college and only lasts like 1 year because his heart's not in it, he's not interested in it, and he heads off to try to do radio. Limbaugh was a good DJ, but he was exactly the type of person who didn't listen to his boss. He was the kind of DJ who would call the local pizza place and order 5,000 pizzas and tell them he was from the competing station. And so that's a very poor strategy for remaining employed.
After getting fired from jobs across the Midwest, Limbaugh scores his first real break at KFBK in Sacramento.
He got the job because another right-wing talk show host made some sort of ethnic slur and was fired. His name was Morton Downey Jr.
If you disagree with what you hear, don't blame us. Blame it on Morton Downey Jr.
Morton Downey Jr. will soon be known for his angry antics on his late-night TV show. But in 1984, he's a loudmouth DJ talking politics on KFBK.
And he says something racist about a city councilman. And so they fire Downey and they have a slot.
Limbaugh gets that job, but to appeal to Morton Downey's audience, he tweaks what he talks about on the mic.
And you have to understand that at the time that Limbaugh goes to Sacramento, he is not that political. This guy's never been registered to vote. He's in his 30s. But he's just sort of applying the shtick that he had developed as a DJ to political conversation. And he has a good time, and he's doing gags and all this kind of stuff.
So I have a little joke I'm going to play on the light company. We will call him up on the phone right now.
Limbaugh's new act is heard by Ed McLaughlin, the head of ABC Radio. He's got an opening at WABC, the company's flagship station in New York City.
He moves to New York July 4th weekend of 1988, and August 1st of 88, he debuts national.
With talent on loan from God.
In New York, Howard Stern has already established himself as the king of the FM dial by syndicating his show to stations across the country.
Howard Stern starts to kind of pioneer the raunchier, in-your-face, what they call guy talk that could be really sexual.
Stern was so outrageous on last night's Tonight Show, NBC issued a formal apology to its viewers.
They talk a little politics, but it was mostly focused on sex and women and popular culture and that kind of thing, and it pushed the boundaries of propriety.
But while Howard reinvents what morning drive time sounds like, Rush uses his midday AM talk show to do the same thing with political radio.
Paramount Pictures presents Bill Clinton in Taxula.
It's hard to understate how different and unique and fresh his show feels.
There's no doubt that the Rush Limbaugh radio show was pretty inventive. There was more comedy. Limbaugh had an amazing talent of connecting with his audience. He did it unlike other right-wing ranters on the radio.
On loan from God, Rush Limbaugh. Here on the Excellence in Broadcasting Network.
Calls his network the Excellence in Broadcasting Network, and EIB1 is his plane when he gets wealthy enough to have a plane.
And that was very sticky, you know what I mean? excellence in broadcasting. You know, it was all this, I wouldn't even say it was marketing because it was way more campy than marketing, you know.
Limbaugh quickly makes a name for himself by belittling liberal beliefs.
Morality is not defined by individual choice. You hear that, you liberals?
He has caller abortions. He plays a vacuum cleaner sound effect and screaming in the background while hanging up on liberal callers. And his point, he stops them after a short period of time, but his point is that they're more controversial than actual abortions. So he's making a conservative political point, but he's not just lecturing on it. It's not a sermonizer. This is not church. This is fun.
Rush Limbaugh.
Yeah.
The first time I heard Rush Limbaugh, I vividly remember driving to my sister's house in Cincinnati. I turned him on. I'm somewhere in the middle of Indiana, and here's this energetic, kind of off-the-wall guy.
Yes, Gentlemen Square, nuclear weapons on!
Who's speaking to me. I am Joe Walsh, former Illinois congressman, former Republican candidate for president, and former Rush Limbaugh listener.
Before Rush, conservatives complained that no one on TV or radio speaks for them.
Generally, if you were right of center, you'd get pounded. You'd get criticized.
And that the mainstream media is biased against them and their values.
ABC, CBS, NBC, they're all left of center. CNN, left of center. I mean, most of the media in America has always been left of center.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Well, I hope I've answered your questions as best I could, given the very little that I know.
So to have somebody like Rush Limbaugh beat them up, it was refreshing.
The country was moving to the right since Reagan, and there had been backlash from the social movements. You know, there was the hippie movement, there was the civil rights movement, there was the feminist movement.
This is a kind of peak moment in the culture wars. You've got a lot of white Christians, especially white Christian men, who feel like the world has been turned upside down on them over like 20 years.
Telling these men, well, you can't call black people colored anymore. You can't call women girls anymore.
And it's these white conservative men who see in Rush Limbaugh a man willing to speak up on their behalf.
Rush had an amazing, amazing sense of what people who tended to think like he did, where they were coming from.
He's just becoming a bigger and bigger deal, especially for men. It becomes like their clubhouse.
In only a year, his audience swells to almost 1 million people on 172 stations. He's also becoming more and more derisive towards the social and political groups he targets.
It's no secret the talk show host offends many people, including gays, women, Democrats, and liberals.
There was a lot of complaining about liberals and Democrats and women and black people.
Making fun of gay people, making fun of people with HIV.
The thing that a lot of liberals start to feel is that he was a bigot. He punched down at people who were less powerful than him.
Despite increasing outrage from activist groups, Rush Limbaugh doesn't get canceled like he might today. Instead, he's rewarded. CBS asked Limbaugh to guest host Pat Sajak's talk show, but it's a request they will soon regret.
Affirmative action is an insult. Sir, please sit down. We'll get to you in good time.